Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today I'm doing a game just for myself. I think you guys will probably enjoy it, but this is a little bit of a selfish pick. It's going to be, well, I guess down here I should show first. This is Bisu. You know, as you guys know, I will cast Bisu games forever. Definitely one of my favorite players to watch. And his opponent up here is going to be Ample. Ample's been kind of active lately, and I want to. Maybe he's been active for a bit, but I just haven't caught his games. I haven't really seen him doing too much. If you don't remember who Ample is, Ample has the designation of being the most aggressive pro-level Terran. He's kind of like the Terran version of Zealot, right? Zealot is like a Zerg that can make it into ASL, doesn't make it every single time, but basically plays, hyper aggressive, does things like guardian rushes and stuff. And so funny, the Ample depot. Anyways, he always puts his depot like this. I've seen a lot of Ample games. But yeah, Ample is just a very, very aggressive Terran. We haven't casted him, I think, in many, many months. But yeah, I just kind of want to see how he's doing, what he's looking like. And, you know, I think, like, obviously Bisu's a lot stronger, and Bisu would be quite favored against Ample. But Ample, because of his aggression, punches above his weight class pretty often. Like, he's a player that, like, makes it into ASL every now and then. You know, the bracket goes right, the builds go right, he can make it in. He is a very strong player, but, like, not someone that you expect, right? He's definitely not... I would say he's definitely not top 28 players in the world, which is what ASL basically is. But he's one of those players that can rotate in. So, anyways, I quite enjoy Ample games because he sometimes gives some really good ideas on very aggressive attacks that you can do. Sometimes to his own detriment, and sometimes allows him to get some really great wins. So, anyways, there it is. Hopefully, it's a great game that you guys enjoy as well. So, anyways, Bisu is out here harassing with that probe. Ample did snag his gas, and will actually get oh man, his SCV micro is actually just like... The thing is, Bisu is like really good with the probe. You might look at that and be like, wow, that's really terrible micro. And it looks like that, but part of that is the strength of Bisu's micro with that probe. Okay, just to be clear. Trust me, if you played against Ample, his SCV would probably kill half your workers. It's, but yeah, that definitely didn't look super, super great. Anyways, he gets his factory up with an okay time. He's a little bit down as far as workers go, but that's all right. It's nothing too far out of the ordinary so far in this game. Bisu is actually, he starts up his range, and we'll see if he keeps that range going or he cancels for his Nexus. Honestly, against Ample, you should just get the range upgrade. Just go range, expansion, robo, and add 2 gates. Like, a 3-gate robo would be my standard against Ample, just knowing his style, knowing the way that he generally tends to play. But it looks like just a pretty standard Vulture expansion. He actually moves out with 3 Marines. This might be like him trying to catch the first goon coming across the map, but normally you would stand them down here so you can catch it coming uphill, so it just becomes super one-sided and the Dragoon has to run. So, they should be standing there. See? It'll basically do the same thing. Yeah, like you can't do too much there as Bisu. And the Vulture actually going the other way. So, I mean, all solid plays here. Add-on on the way. Bisu never did cancel range. So, if Bisu wants to commit with his first Dragoons, he can actually do a reasonable job. Ample actually does go for the bunker, which is definitely the right call. It's one of the more interesting things because we don't have a lot of action here. Like the Vulture tried to run in, Bisu blocked, the Dragoon tried to attack, the bunker blocked. Okay, just talking about the bunker for a moment in TVZ, right? So the Vulture expansion, which is 3 Marines and a Vulture, basically can hold everything. It like has the potential to hold everything. And then you get the Vulture on the map and you do some scouting with it and hopefully keep it alive and lay mines. Unfortunately for him, he does lose that one pretty quickly. But whether or not to make the bunker. As you go lower level, Terrans go towards 100% of making the bunker because it just makes you safe. But there are certain situations where you can read and not make the bunker. So it basically has to do with the Nexus time. I mean, like, if you get this Nexus quick enough that you can tell that they had to cancel range to get it, you don't actually need the bunker. But if they get range and you don't get the bunker, you can actually just die to that. That is a possibility. Now, Bisu is out here pressuring onto this Vulture. He does have some mines, so that's actually a really good mine. With the 2 goons chasing you, I really like that mine, and that's why. You don't really expect one there. That's... You know, doing unexpected mine locations is actually a skill. some very interesting ones. But yeah, the Vulture will be able to get away. Bisu knows the mine is here. He'll probably just defuse that really quickly. I'd be surprised if not. He's like one of the very best at this. I actually played Bisu a couple weeks ago, and I had 3 mines up. And he had like a group of 4 goons, and I had a tank behind the mines, and he diffused every mine and killed my tank. And I was like, I can't, what the fuck is this Bisu I'm playing against? And it was. I checked afterwards. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Anyways, yeah, the Vulture's just kind of rotating around. It looks like it is like a 2-gate observer into Reaver play here. Looking over at Ample's side, he is getting some missile turrets. He did go 1 fact armory, by the way. I saw that in the production tab, but was talking about something else. But just like a standard macro opener. Can't really see anything wrong with it. It's not really Ample style, but we actually... I'm remembering back to some other Ample games that, like the last time I casted Ample, he was playing more of this type of style. He may be looking at his very aggressive plays and deciding, you know what, I need to kind of change this up a little bit. Now, this is actually super cute. That was super cute. But yeah, he's been changing his style a little bit. Less aggressive plays, more macro-oriented, which is kind of interesting because it doesn't really play towards his strengths. But I think if he wants to become like a real top pro, like he does need to be able to fill out his play with plays like this. Anyways, this was very cute. Excuse me. This was very cute. It wasn't perfectly covered because you can actually completely hide it, but enough that Bisu glancing didn't see it. He brought his observer in, and... yeah, lost it because that missile turret was kind of in a funny location. And he actually saves that, so that's nice. Yeah, there we go. And he finally covers it completely. If you have it covered completely, to target it, you have to pull away from Fog of War. Because under the Fog of War, like, if you see this, you can't click it. But if you go back here and you can't see it, you can click it because the barracks doesn't show up on the Fog of War. It's kind of a funny little trick. Anyways, the Reaver has come up. Bisu actually taking a very interesting 3rd base. Not what I was expecting, but I kind of like that. Ample adding facts, going up to 5. No big surprise there. He's got, like, not a huge amount of defense in here, but I think the turrets all reach everywhere just about right. The Reaver just rotating around a little bit. Shuttle speed on the way. A couple more gates coming up. And, you know, he's got, okay, so like Goliath range, Vulture speed, you know, he's just kind of filling out his upgrades as far as it goes from that armor. He's already got his +1. He's got +1 armor on the way. And Bisu's getting ready to maybe take a 4th base relatively soon here, which I think is actually a good play because it really forces Ample's hand. But I don't know that Ample can get, can get an attack off. It doesn't... I don't think 5 and 6 factory play is particularly good right now. Like, there are people that are hitting them still sometimes, but, like, it is... They go wrong way more often than they go right at the moment. You know, he's massing up reasonably well. You know, he's keeping his supply depots going. But this really feels like he's just got to go take a 3rd base to me. Like, Bisu should be adding a lot of gates. He actually... Okay, so this would be a situation where the attack would make sense. Or could make sense is a better way to put it. Just because Bisu went 4th Nexus off 4 gates. But notice how he's going up to... Well, this is 9, but I think he'll go even heavier than that. And he'll probably... Yeah, he's getting into Zealot legs just now. It's like a little bit late. But can you actually push through this? Speed shuttle with 2 Reavers... multiple attack paths going uphill. It's just very hard to pull stuff like this off. And the way he's setting up his missile turrets points towards expanding. And, well, there's the command center, so that kind of tells you, right? Some pretty good defense there in the main base against Reaver drops. But Bisu, it feels like Bisu has really dictated this game mostly so far. Huge round of Zealots coming out as that Zealot legs are on the way. Kind of just pushing this back. See, this little push, I think he's just playing. You know, he's just like, okay, pushing back, maybe make him think that I'm attacking, but I'm not. You're going to have to turtle up pretty heavily. Good minefield here. Like, putting depots in here is really, really good. Mostly, I've been talking a lot about Eclipse lately because we've really figured out so much more. Like, for instance, in this position, this is your main defensive area. This is the area where you need to have most of your units. Because it covers to, like, here, and it covers this whole area, and this isn't really a thing. So this is, like, how you kind of secure this area. And Ample's basically doing that correctly. You know, everyone's going to set up tanks slightly different. And then you just kind of watch for drops and really get your macro going. Like, you need to basically max out on 3 bases on this map while scanning to make sure they're not going carrier. So here comes the double shuttle. Not caring at all about those turrets. Drops out three Zealots, and the shuttle barely with any damage. Oh my god. Ugh! Okay, only 1 Scarab hits. It wasn't actually that great of a Scarab. It got like maybe 3-4 SCVs. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay. Actually, this really helps. The fact that this is really thin makes it really hard for the Reaver to hit shots when the SCVs run through there because they line up, and the Scarab actually has to get next to what it was targeting to blow up. So if you keep units between, it doesn't go through units. So, wow, he actually flies right out. That actually wasn't very much damage. Good block from Ample. I actually thought Bisu would get a little bit more done with that. But takes some damage on that shuttle. It looks like everything looking pretty solid for him. And in fact, looking at the supplies, like nothing terrible here. We have 63 workers against 66 for Ample. You know, he's got 152 supply against a maxed out Bisu. It's a double robo play, so as long as he's making lots of turrets, mines, and spread out siege tanks, he should be fine. That's the main thing. He doesn't have mines laid right now, which he... Like, if he dies here, we're going to know exactly why. This is a little bit of a heartbreaker. So Bisu is shoving in. He's actually maybe not even going to kill him still. Actually, a big group of Zealots came from behind there, and those were a little bit late getting in. So I actually think Bisu's attack was correct based on there being, like, no mines. And he reduced the tanks somewhat, but you can see that Ample from here, like, you have to be reasonably okay with that as Ample. You know, you were definitely way more cost efficient. It was like 150 to 200, and now it's like 125, 125 after it. So definitely that went pretty well for him. But the main thing is that Bisu has 5 base. So you need to either attack or you need a 4th base. And he's actually been on only 5 fact this whole time? Uh-oh. Actually, that was a little bit better for Bisu, even though that looked terrible. It really just has to do with the fact that Ample's going to have a hard time keeping up in that supply. 5 factory is not something that you can max on. Like, it takes 100 years. You need a lot more factories. Realistically, on a map like this, you need to take that 3rd base, you need to jump up to at least 8 factories. And if you don't do that pretty quickly, it's really hard to really do much of anything else. Now, Bisu expanding here. Oh my god, I'm like tripping over my words. Sorry. He's expanding to the top left as like his 6th base, and down here into the other bottom right base as like his 7th base. Obviously, you can't let him have both those. This, I don't know, man. There's a shuttle here. This isn't gonna work. Sorry. Oh, actually, this is kind of a cute move. Drop out eat the Scarab shots with the vultures, and then drop the tanks in to kill the Reavers. That's actually a really good idea. I like that. Because a lot of times you'll have fringe bases that are just guarded by Reavers, and you're like, nothing I can do there, really. You know, the Reaver's just so efficient and micros so well. Not a lot you can do, but actually, that's a really good idea. Just make them shoot with the vultures. And, you know, the thing is, tanks deal damage very quickly to the Reavers. The Reavers don't have that much health. So anyways, it's not going to end up working out down here. But The main thing in this game, right? So Bisu is still not maxed out again. You know, Ample is just finally back up to where he was before the attack. But he needs to deny this base. The general idea on Eclipse right now is if they're not going for carrier, you secure this, and you eventually have to take this base. And if you have that line of bases as Terran on either side, I think top right is a little bit better for this style of play. But if you have this line of bases, you against non-carrier play, you can actually kill Protoss. Like, you just barely outlast them with, like, pretty standard engagements on both sides. Like, maybe Protoss does a little bit better in some, you do a little bit better in some. But overall, you'll be a little bit more cost efficient because you're like a spread out upgrade mech. But yeah, it's like you can't let Bisu get this base. You have to get this base yourself. If... Oh, hold on. We have triple shuttle coming in. And actually, no High Templars in that shuttle. So, not as much damage as maybe he was looking for. This is actually a very good hold again from Ample. But I think Bisu doesn't care too much. He has a lot of bases right now. So this doesn't feel like it's a huge deal to lose these units. Ample's setting up this base. He doesn't really have anything up here to defend as of yet. He kind of needs to remake these turrets. Yeah, he is remaking some of those as well. This Reaver's still alive. That is very annoying. And yeah, well, Ample has 2-2. Yeah, he's getting up into position. He needs to secure here. He needs to make sure that this area probably is the other one that's still secured. I mean, you can kind of do this and this. If they run up here, it could get a little bit messy, but you might be able to flank it too. Bisu right now, by the way, you can see he has started the air weapons, and there's the fleet beacon in his production tab. So, yeah, there it is. So he is going to go into carriers, and he recognizes that, like, okay, well, Ample's playing this carefully enough. He's not wasting an army. And that's really what Eclipse is about right now. You know, the way that Eclipse is played has shifted a lot over the years as we've learned more and more. It's actually probably taught us more than any other single map, other than, like, a fighting spirit. That's annoying. He's gonna just barely kill it. Nice. Yeah, good micro. Anyways, yeah, this map has really taught us a lot, and you can see that both of them really understand what you're supposed to be doing here. The fact that Ample is just continually growing, he's macroing up, he's getting those really fantastic upgrades, but he's got to identify that carriers are on the way, and he's going to have to push. You know, this is the only real transition that Protoss has. Everything else that Protoss does, basically, they're non-stop on making army, and their army continues to scale well. The only thing that, like, has delayed rewards is a carrier switch. You know, you have a lot of money put in, you have a lot of supply put in, and then they have to build for a long time, and then they have to make their interceptors, and you actually have to hit the critical mass, too. You really need, like, 4+ to make them do anything. Like, the first two carriers just, they aren't scary. So there is this window right now for Ample where he can win this game, right? It's during this carrier transition. See, so this is like 18 supply of carriers being made, and they're not going to be ready for a long time. So when we're both maxed out and Bisu actually has more probes as well, it's a considerable army advantage. Now, you do have to still be careful. If you're running into Size Storm, Bisu can absolutely still take the fight. So you kind of have to attack very carefully. All right, pretty decent Size Storms. That's a good defense matrix, though, as well. Oh, that's a really good Size Storm, but that's not really enough. Bisu coming forward with a lot more Size Storm. Don't forget, he's still got these shuttles. And in fact, it looks like Ample is nailing this timing as hard as you ever could. This is so crazy. He's actually putting out like a really solid defensive macro game here. Damn, the hard work is paying off. The last time we saw him do this, it didn't look that great. I'm trying to think who it was against. I can't quite recall. Maybe it was DeWalt or something. I don't... No, maybe not. Anyways, yeah. This is a very solid timing attack. Like, he really read this position extremely, extremely well. He's got 3-3 on the way. You know, the carriers are starting to pop out and trying to make some interceptors, but that is going to take a while, as we discussed before. Oh, that's really clumped. That's a great Psystorm. Would have been better if he could spread that a little bit, but look at this. He's attacking over here at the same time. This game is definitely not over. Like, Ample doesn't just win from such a great attack. If Bisu can build up a decent amount of carriers, he might be able to keep these two bases alive and start grinding. Like, I think Ample's just going to win, but there can be crazy comebacks for Protoss in these positions where it's like mass Psystorm, mass carrier. It's really hard to break. But with the 3-3 upgrades, the timing of this push, you know, he's kind of coming up and pushing back, maybe able to kill a Stargate. That would be huge. Yeah, look at it. The Zealots coming out and helping to clear some of these Goliaths at least. Now, Bisu does get up to 5 carries. They do not have their full interceptors yet, so they're not actually that scary as of right now. And, of course, with the 3-3 upgrades, you're going to do a little bit better with these Goliaths. It is just 1-1-1 for the carriers right now. By the way, a couple more Siege Tanks up here. So Ample has done such a good job of spreading everything out and attacking. We don't see him taking this base, which is the only thing I would really like to see him do other than what he's doing right now. That's kind of like the one missing thing in his play. I got to tell you, though, I'm actually, like, super impressed. Ample just wasn't good at this type of game for a really long time. Just never really played it. Wasn't really his skill set. But he played solid. Like, he blocked the Reaver drop way better than I thought he would. You know, he blocked the attacks. Even though his factory count was kind of low, like, he understood the position really, really well. Took the 4th base. It felt like it was a little bit late, but GG. That was really well done by Ample. That was really well done. Wow. Congrats to him, man. Hard work pays off. Solid, solid macro game. May have to start changing how I talk about Ample here. You know what this reminds me of, actually? This reminds me of what Leda was doing a few years ago. Because Leda was another kind of highly aggressive Terran, and he was having a hard time staying consistent, and he went to Light for coaching and got coached a lot. Those are some of the best videos I ever saw for learning Terran, because Light was kind of showing him like, no, you're fine here. Okay, now you need this. And it was just like, it's really great to see these Terran players that have played this other style that's kind of anachronistic, that kind of doesn't work anymore, learn more to fill out their play, because they can still go back to those aggressive tendencies that they have, and it will make them such a stronger player that they have the options. Because if you're a player that can only play aggressive, it's very easy to beat you. But if you have this in your back pocket, but you're also like really great at attacking early with some kind of off-center strategies, really fills you out. So really congrats to Ample. Really pleasantly surprised this game. Great job against Bisu. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.